What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's doing well today. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I will be reacting to the average cost of groceries in Britain versus America. Let's go ahead and check it out, man, because today I am very curious to actually learn the differences in the pricing of groceries in Britain versus America. It doesn't make any sense, the prices out here. It's like, my goodness, every time I walk into the store, it's like the prices are different. Why do they keep upping the prices for no reason? It doesn't make sense. I mean, the taxes are ridiculous, let alone upping the price. Taxes add like another $3 or $4 in America. It don't make no sense, man.
Is it bog? Can I say bog?
Bog standard.
So I'm currently standing here at a bog standard British supermarket. That is a Sainsbury's, the local edition, because this is a place where a large percentage of the British people are currently going to buy their groceries. And with the cost of inflation on the rise, with the cost of literally all goods going up more and more and more, I wanted to see what is the cost of an average shop at your local store in the UK and possibly compare it to how our friends across the pond in America are currently doing with their grocery shops. So without further ado, let's get some food.
And Evan actually knows the differences because I believe he's actually from New Jersey. So yeah, he knows the difference in between the pricings. Oh my goodness. So I know that his information throughout this video will be accurate, man. I will not have to go search for valid sources after this video. We should be good today.
Shop at your local store in the UK and possibly compare it to how our friends across the pond in America are currently doing with their grocery shops. So without further ado, let's get some food.
All right, so I am finally back from Sainsbury's with a meal deal in hand, using, of course, a reusable bag from Morrison's because I care about the environment. So today we're going to be looking at, like I said, the difference in price between the standard groceries you can get in the UK versus the US. Having grown up in the US and spending, to this point, the majority of my life there, I'm pretty well aware of what prices things normally are. And from my experience, I always felt like it was always more expensive to just buy groceries than it was to get a takeaway or a delivery or something like that. But hey, depends on what you're getting, and I think the data will speak for itself pretty much. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Evan Ettinger, an American-born British YouTuber who likes making videos on interesting things. Also, he has a master's degree in actuarial science. I'm saying this because it explains my love for mathematics. Today's video is quite mathy. Let's dive on in.
No. It shows how smart you is, man. That boy a genius.
Also, if you like this style of content, please be sure to give that subscribe button a little toggle. Anywho, so groceries. In order to make this as fair as possible, I looked at 2 different stores in the US and 2 different shops in the UK, trying to make it as uniform as possible. I also made sure that certain items were judged by the price per kilogram as opposed to just the price. So that way, of course, if something was 550 grams and something was 300 grams, we can actually see the overall cost per kilogram and see which one was more expensive. Also, using Google Spreadsheets' automatic conversion algorithms, I was able to make an entire column just for Americans to understand everything in the dollar value and also everything in pounds for Brits. Now in the UK corner, we're looking at a Sainsbury's/Tesco because I believe these are pretty middle of the line shops. And also they're all over the entirety of the UK. In the US, we're looking at an Acme/ShopRite. And if you're
don't get me started on Acme. Don't get me started on ShopRite either. ShopRite actually isn't that expensive. I've been going there more frequently rather than Walmart and Target, Best Buy, BJ's, Sam's Club. Sam's Club actually sells way better food though. They keep up with their food though. So it's worth it, and you need a membership. But yeah, ShopRite is okay. Acme's okay. Acme is expensive. I only go to Acme to purchase beef sticks. They got the beef sticks that I like 100% beef. I can't eat the Slim Jims no more because they contain pork now. They don't have the same ingredients as they did when I was a kid. So yeah, that's where I get my beef sticks from. But ShopRite, I go shopping there. They got good pricing. They have good pricing.
They're all over the entirety of the UK. In the US, we're looking at an Acme/ShopRite. And if you're American going, I've never heard of those, I'm fairly certain there aren't any fully national grocery food chains in the States. There might have some that are like taking up a huge majority of the West Coast or East Coast, like Safeway or Trader Joe's and whatnot. But I'm using my Jersey heritage. So we're going with ShopRite and Acme. All right, I split this up into a couple different sections with the standard groceries. We got fruit and veg, and then we got some meats and other things like that. In the UK, you can expect to spend about £1.20 for your standard loaf, no fancy, no seeds of bread.
Yeah?
In the US, the equivalent cost in dollars is $3.84, or in pounds, that's £3.32, a 2.7 times increase over the cost of a single loaf of bread for the same equivalent grammage in the UK. Grammage.
Robbing us, man.
My grandma bought this loaf of bread and it was 2.7 times more expensive back in her day. Porridge oats, or oatmeal, standard kilogram box of porridge oats is going to cost you about £1.95 in the UK. Get you a nice amount of porridge. In the US, that's £4.71, the equivalent of $5.45 for a kilogram of oatmeal. Yet again, we're over 2 times more expensive for this standard grocery.
I don't purchase that oatmeal brand though. You can't get Quaker Oats. You can't get that one. Which one do I actually use again? I forgot the name brand, but all I get is the green apple one. It's the little packets that come in a box. That's cheap. Very cheap. I believe that box is like $2 $3, but there's literally like 20, 30 something packages in it, man. Like, I still have it. It lasts like a month or two, but I haven't been eating it every day. Like that. I've been actually eating different varieties of foods instead of just oatmeal all day. So that's probably why, but yeah, 2 boxes will last you a solid month.
Per kilogram of oatmeal. Yet again, we're over 2 times more expensive for this standard grocery. Next up, we've got cornflakes. These exist in both countries. No crazy cereals. No, we're not talking about any like Jolly Rancher or Sour Patch Kids cereal in the US. Standard cornflakes. In the UK, of course,
like,
if you
would
want.
you even allow that in the UK? Sour Patch Kids? Jolly Ranchers? They got Starburst. Would you even allow this? Your country's not allowing this, man.
Or Sour Patch Kids cereal in the US. Standard cornflakes. In the UK, of course, if you want a big box of this terrible anti-masturbatory cereal, it's going to cost you £2. It's pretty standard. It's cornflakes. You're not paying much for cornflakes. In the US, it is £5.59. $6.46 for a box of cornflakes. Cornflakes. This is one of those that
That's why you gotta take the unhealthier route and get the Frosted Flakes. It's still cornflakes. It's just a brand that contains way more sugar. It's not the same, actually. It's not the same. But $6.59 is that's harsh. Yeah, it's kind of harsh. You can get the Frosted one for about $3 or $4 in the stores, family size.
46 cents for a box of cornflakes. Cornflakes. This is one of those that I was like, is it really that expensive? And then I remembered, yes, I loved cereal growing up in the States, and I always expected to pay about $4.50 for a small box, or for the cornflakes, something like that size, about $6. So, I just didn't realize how much I was really saving on groceries living in the UK. On basic things. Moving on, we got 500 grams of rice. This one was actually quite close. Only 10% more expensive in the US. Still more expensive, but you know, not as bad. 1.26 times more expensive in the States for the equivalent amount of butter. Moving on to 4 pints of whole milk. And if you're wondering why I'm measuring 4 pints of whole milk, the UK is an absolutely batshit measuring thing in which they go somewhat metric and then they go back to imperial, but in a weird way, where instead of just saying a gallon or quarts or something like that, they just go with 4 pints. Might as well just say 8 cups. I don't know, half gallon, ring a bell anyone? 2 quarts, I don't know. Either way, so the equivalent amount of milk, a standard thing that most people will pick up during their grocery shop, we're looking at £3.10 in the US. Yet again, more than double the UK amount of £1.45. Switching over to dollars, that's the equivalent of paying $1.68 for a half gallon of milk. So far, we've not really seen any big W's coming out the US, but that's about to change with cheddar cheese. 550 grams? No. Actually, very close though, only 16% more expensive in the States. So you could write that off as a little bit of variance.
Is the cheese, how do I put it? Is the quality of these cheeses from these different brands being sold in the supermarkets within the UK, is the quality of it better? Because I know the UK has amazing cheeses. Cheeses that we can't get over here in the States. So I'm curious to know, like, I mean, if so, I don't know why the US has a higher price. I mean, I'm thinking of the quality of the cheese. If not, if the quality is kind of like the same as the American one, then all right. But yet again, this is UK we're talking about. The quality's not the same.
10% more expensive in the States, so you could write that off as a little bit of variance. That's fine. A dozen medium eggs, £2.30 for a standard dozen versus £3.02 in the States. So for my standard dry good groceries, it looks like the UK is a resounding win with a significant decrease in the price of groceries. Now moving on to fresh fruit and veg. First up is an onion. or rather onions per kilogram. Per kilogram, you're looking at 85 pence for a kilogram of onions. Of course, they're cheap onions. Except in the States, you're looking at an equivalent of 3 pounds and 79 pence. We're looking at 4.46 times the price. Nearly 4.5 times more money for a bag of onions. And it gets worse if you only want to buy a couple onions. I knew this because when I visited the States in February, I wanted to buy one onion for a dish and it cost $1 for one onion. In the UK, that's the equivalent of buying a whole kilogram of them. It's crazy. And then finally, we get our first W.
I didn't know it was cheap like that.
Equivalent of buying a whole kilogram of them. It's crazy. And then finally, we get our first W. USA. We win on the tomatoes, okay? We got some vine fresh tomatoes. The US pays 17% less. Hell yes. Now, to be fair, this is a bit of an outlier because this is coming from a New Jersey location. And New Jersey is known for our Jersey fresh tomatoes, the best tomatoes you can get anywhere in the world. So you'd think
I didn't even know that, and I live in Jersey. I'm not from Jersey, but I've been living here for some time. I didn't know we was known for tomatoes. I didn't know Jersey was known for anything. I have to do some research on it.
New Jersey is known for our Jersey fresh tomatoes, the best tomatoes you can get anywhere in the world. So you'd think because they're so incredibly good and delicious in the Garden State, they'd be more expensive, but no, everyone's growing them. We got them all over the place. So,
oh, that's crazy. We are called the Garden State. It's on the license plates.
You can get anywhere in the world. So you'd think because they're so incredibly good and delicious in the Garden State, they'd be more expensive, but no, everyone's growing them. We got them all over the place. So, congrats. We got cheaper tomatoes. Next up, Pink Lady apples, the creme de la crap. Yes, another win for the US. 2% cheaper, but we will take our W's. Now, bananas per kilogram are 78 pence in the UK. You can buy them for, at this point, freaking 30 pence per. But I digress. For the US, it's not that bad. At £1.12 is the equivalent amount, so only 1.5 times more expensive. I'm saying only, but at this point, these are all starting to add up. And this one blew me away the most. A kilogram of carrots will set you back 45 pence, nearly 50 cents. However, in the US, for that equivalent, you're paying £1.88. Yet again, over 4 times the cost for carrots. And at this point, it's starting to get really freaky because the US, especially like California, has so many farms, huge swathes of land. We have so much more land. You could argue we have more people, and so therefore we have more demand. But for some reason, I feel like something else is afoot here as well. Like, it just seems wild that all of this is more expensive, except of course the Jersey Fresh and the apples. Next up, standard raisins. Standard bag of raisins are 2 times more expensive in the US. A cucumber, 1.5 times more expensive. Same thing for a can of chopped tomatoes, 1.5 times more expensive. A kilogram.
59? Whoa, 59 and then 2.49. That is insane. That's ridiculous. Oh, never mind. $2 because it's on sale. Man, that is ridiculous.
More expensive in the US. A cucumber, 1.5 times more expensive. Same thing for a can of chopped tomatoes, 1.5 times more expensive. A kilogram of potatoes. Potatoes are so cheap. A kilogram bag is 83 pence in the UK. The US is 3.5 times more expensive. We're looking at over $3 for a kilogram of
25 pence. $1.12.
Is 3.5 times more expensive. We're looking at over $3 for a kilogram of potatoes. Lord have mercy. We did have 2 wins for this section of fresh fruit and veg, but now I think there might be a bit more perspective here on why there's so much processed foods in the US, because if you can believe it, a lot of those are a lot cheaper than buying all of these fresh vegetables. Just buy a box, add a couple things to it, bon appetit. You save a bit of money, not as good for you. And finally, our last section here is going to be the meat of the video. The meats. Going into this, I really expected the UK's to be more expensive for meats because, God, is it expensive to buy standard mincemeat and chicken and such at the local stores. But mincemeat, holy crap. £1.69 for the UK equivalent weight. £5.99. Holy 3.5 times for meat. Wow. I don't know how much I'd eat meat if it was that expensive, to be honest with you. Chicken.
Yeah, I mean, when you go food shopping, it's usually like the milk, the eggs, and the meat that add up, and the bread. The main things you need add up, and then you get all the little things like snacks and drinks and everything. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And then you look at your receipt and be like, I spent $200-300. How did I spend that? I didn't get nothing. You got 2 packs of meat, 2 milks, 2-3 cartons of eggs. Okay, you probably got some shrimp. You probably got some lean beef. Probably got some chicken, steak, whatever, some fish. It adds up. Like, the way the prices are, you would think we're on a low supply or something. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
For meat, wow. I don't know how much I'd eat meat if it was that expensive, to be honest with you. Chicken breast, 650 grams, 1.3 times more expensive in the US. Okay, that's not so bad considering mincemeat was that big. Smoked bacon, very close, nearly 1-to-1, 250 versus 256. That can change depending on how far the pound has been dropping recently. So if we were to add all these up, the cost of your total grocery shop in the UK would be £48 and 88 pence, whereas the US equivalent is £88 and 69 pence, over $100 for a standard grocery shop, which blows me away. Back when
And we didn't get anything. Look at all the items we got throughout this video. We didn't get much. We could probably carry everything in our hand. That's what I'm
dollars
saying, like.
for a standard grocery shop, which blows me away. Back when I used to shop at Lidl all the time, I would marvel at how many things I'd shove in my cart and it would still come out to just about 20 quid. And I was like, hell yes. But Jesus, I just can't imagine a standard grocery shop being $100.
I mean, I said the same thing with my essentials. When I run to these stores to get my essentials every single month, at the end of the month, I get my toothpaste, I get deodorant, toothpicks, mouthwash, soap. Am I missing anything? That's all I get. That's literally all I get. And I make my way to the self-checkout, and then it'll be like $60-something. I'm like, this is crazy. $60-something without the toothpicks, because I don't run out of them that much every single month. It's like maybe every other month. Let's take that off. Now it's about $52.46. I remember that price by head. I don't know. They're stealing our money, and I didn't even get any food. I didn't even get any meat. So wait till you start getting in the, essentials and, the things you need for your house. Everyday things like toothpaste and mouthwash, stuff like that. The necessities that they know you need, they are going to run your pockets, and they know you need it. And it's like that at any store too. Everybody's prices are high. It doesn't make sense. And then it seems like the lower quality brands, you could catch those for like $2-3. I don't want to use that. And then it comes with like, I don't know, man. Some of them come with like recycled packaging on it, and they'll have like the recycling icon. And then, I don't know, sometimes the toothpaste tastes a little weird because I've tried the brand before. Like, it was in my closet, and I was like, all right, I ran out of toothpaste. And I went to use that, and it was horrible. It was horrible. Unpleasant experience. I gagged. I wanted to throw up. It tasted like salt. And it wasn't even a baking soda one. It just tasted like salt. Something is wrong.
I just can't imagine a standard grocery shop being $100. Of course, this is just a couple samples taken. It's not like a sample across all of the US and all of the UK. And sure, if you're always used to paying 1.8 times what the UK is, you're not necessarily going to notice as big a difference. You don't have anything to compare it to necessarily while you've always been in the US. But sales tax is also a thing in quite a few states. 13 states actually charge their citizens tax on basic groceries. Tennessee charges 4%. So that $100 shop has an extra $4 tacked on top that you aren't really probably budgeting for, and then that adds up every single shop.
I'm gonna move to Florida. That's what I'm gonna do. How do you guys actually feel about this video? I'm curious to know, like, what are the average prices, if you can remember, and if you feel comfortable sharing. What are some of the average prices in the stores within the UK? What are some of the average pricings of like essential goods? Things that you would use on the everyday basis. Let's start there, such as toothpaste, mouthwash, toothbrushes, soap, deodorant. How much is that down there? Can somebody please drop the store names, the brands if possible, and the price? Because this doesn't make any sense. I'm thinking, hey, maybe I should just travel down to the UK with nothing, no essentials on me. And maybe I should buy them all in the UK since it'll be cheaper, right? Isn't that a smart idea? Don't even bring it down with me from the US. I'm gonna get it in the UK. That's a smart idea, honestly. And I actually would like to go food shopping and do a review within the store and their prices on certain items that I get, and kind of compare it to the prices of, the groceries and essentials that we use on a daily basis at the stores in the UK. I want to compare both of them side by side and see. And I'm going to get the same exact items. It's not going to be the same brands, but it's going to be the same exact items if I can find each and every single one. If you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and turn all post notifications on. Feel free to share this video and channel to your friends and family members. And please continue to flood my comment section and suggestion link in the description down below. Thank you so much for joining me today to check out this wonderful video by Evan. Original video link will be in the description down below. Thank you so much, Evan, for educating us today with your accurate information. Everyone stay safe, enjoy the weather in your fantastic country, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.